Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at 4 watches here that have a common theme. They're all meant to be watches for an Explorer. They're all homages to the Rolex Explorer. I figured I'd put together this video since Jack was kind enough to lend his watch over for us to check out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. It's Jack's Watches in EDC. So go pay him a visit, subscribe to his channel. So this is the Steinhart Ocean 39 Adventure Divers Classic Watch or something like that, but I basically refer to it as the Ocean 39 Adventure. Then we have the Tisell 39mm EX. It was called something else, but now they have a 36mm version of this watch, so they call this one the 39. The other one's the 36. This is actually a rebuy. I had a different one of these, sold it, and then bought another one. So, yeah, just, I don't know, I guess I wanted to add it back to the collection. Don't know if I'll keep it. And then we have the Armida A6. This is actually the previous generation. This has the 9039 movement. The current generation has the 2836 movement in it. And then we have the Borealis Adraga. They don't currently offer this watch. I'm not sure if it'll come back. So, yeah, let's put these on the table here. So, zoom in a little bit. The Steinhart is about $450 at the time of recording, or at least yesterday when I checked this, about 441 euro. And I think the US dollar is actually worth more than the euro. So anyway, approximately $450 shipped to your door. The Tisell is $235 shipped to your door. The Adraga was $450, so that was 2 installments of $225 each. I think that's half of $450. And then the Armida A6 is now $540. I think it's $549. I think I wrote it down wrong in my notes, but when I bought it, actually I think I bought it used, but back when I bought it with the 9039 movement, I think it was 400, 450, somewhere around there. So anyway, 450, 235, 450, 550. So the Tisell is half the price of the next closest watch, approximately. So these three all have applied indices, and the Armida has painted indices. But I feel that the Armida is going to blow the rest of them away in the Lume, in the Lume department. So we'll see that at the end of the video. All right, so these, this 2 in my hands, but I'll show you a third one. These 3 have domed crystals. The dome on these 2, this one's almost flat. The Borealis is almost flat, but it does have a slight dome to it. And the Steinhart has a little more of a dome. It's upside down. How long did I have that upside down for? I don't know. But anyway, here we go. More of a dome there. Then the Armida, I think, has even more. Well, it's more of a top hat, so the dome may not have as much curve, but it definitely sticks out. This looks the part of a vintage Explorer. And then the Tisell looks more the part of the previous Explorer. That was a 214-270. The current one is the 124-270. This is a flat sapphire crystal. I much prefer a flat sapphire crystal. I really don't like the distortion and bending and seeing everything around. So for me, I like a flat sapphire crystal. All 3 of these are sapphire. These 3 here, according to the website, they have anti-reflective coating. This one, it does not state that on the website, so I don't know if it has AR or not. So hard to say. Then you can see these 3 do have Mercedes handsets. This one does not. You could have purchased this with a Mercedes handset. I bought this one used a while ago, and I'll probably be selling it soon. Actually, if you want this watch, send me an email. We can chat, and I'll sell it. Jack is, I think he is selling this watch. If you want, you can email me and I'll put you in contact with him. All right. So water resistance. Steinhart Tisell 100 meter water resistance. And then believe it or not, these two are rated to 300 meters of water resistance. I don't know why they did that, but 300 meters of water resistance definitely feels it. These are both the heavier and chunkier watches. This thing is really thick, almost 14 millimeter thick. But I feel like you could take this watch into battle and it would have no problems lasting there. And 300 meter water resistance on this one. Actually, it says it right on the dial. Look at that, 30 ATM. Oh, this one says it or not. Does it say on the dial? Yep, 300 meter. And yes, this is anti-magnetic as well. They really put everything into this watch. This one is anti-magnetic, but the current model I don't believe is anti-magnetic. It doesn't say anything about that on their website. And on the website it says this watch, or the new version of this watch, is 14.5 millimeter thick. This one I measured at 14. Okay, let's go on to the next set of specifications. I'll show you all of these in hand in a moment here, but BGW9, BGW9, BGW9. I probably could have said all three of these have BGW9. This one here has C3 Lume. And actually, these two, sorry, not these two, I'm getting all mixed up. The Tisell and the Borealis both have Miyota movements. This has a 90S5, and this one also has a 90S5. This one has the 9039, but the current model has again the Swiss ETA 2836 movement, and then the Tisell has the Solita SW200-1 Elabore grade movement. And all of these watches are basically rated to 40 hours of power reserve. This one's 38, that one's 40, but we'll just say everything's rated to 40 hours of power reserve. Now we got them all mixed up, but you know what, let's just go with that theme and just keep having everything all mixed up on the table here. Sounds like fun. They are all hacking, hand winding, and what else do we need to discuss? Oh yes, this one here actually has a ghost date position. So what that means is when you unscrew the crown, first position is hand winding. Next position is your date set. See, the second hand is still moving, but when you turn the crown, nothing happens. And when you pull it all the way out, then the second hand does hack. So it's a little disappointing for a $450 watch, especially Steinhart, you know, Swiss made and everything, to have a ghost date. Let's get that crown screwed back in. And they are all signed crowns. So there you can see Steinhart logo. This one you can see a T there for Tisell. And then this one, real creative, I know, has a B for Borealis. And then this guy has the Armida logo, laser engraved in there. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. Looks like we're in focus now. So I really like the case shape on this watch. It's nice and curvy. Again, it really reminds me of the Explorer 1016, I believe is, I thought it was the first one. But if this thing wasn't so thick, it would be a keeper for sure. You know, I still think I'm going to keep it even though it's a lot thicker than what I want. But it's such a cool looking watch. It's the only thing holding it back for me, I think, is the thickness. The clasp is a little wonky too, but I can deal with that. All right, let's move on to the next set of specs. So all of these have solid end links. and solid links. No hollow clasp, no hollow end links here. This is the Steinhart. Here's the Armida. Nice solid end links there, solid links in all these. All of these have screw links. I know this one does, that one does. Steinhart does, Tisell does. What about the Borealis? I don't remember on this one. Yeah, this has screw pins as well. It's been a long time since I sized this bracelet. So the Borealis has dual pushers with the safety clasp. The Armida has a friction safety clasp and a friction clasp here. A little bit different. So yeah, actually right here, these guys are kind of peened, and that provides the friction in between this and that bar there. And then the Steinhart has the old kind of hook system for friction right there. So that hook engages on the bar here in the clasp. Does have a safety clasp though. This is polished versus the brush clasp. Looks a little funky. And then the Tisell has a, see, how can I say this? A glide lock like system, homaged after that, after the Rolex system here. So you have a safety clasp. This guy flips up, and then it has a quick adjustment here. By pulling up on the bracelet, then you can slide that back and forth, and it engages in those slots right there. Steinhart just has the 4 pierced micro adjusts there. Same thing with the Armida, but these micro adjusts are really nice and close together. Probably the closest I've ever seen for micro adjustment holes. The holes seem kind of off a little bit, but it doesn't really affect the function. Just don't appear to be in a straight line. And the Borealis has 6 micro adjusts, and all of these do have milled clasp. So let's talk about the dimensions, and then I'll try each of these on wrist, and then we'll check out the Lume. So let's go in the correct order here. Okay, so the Steinhart is 46.9 lug to lug. Does have negative end links, so that's the true fit on wrist. 39 millimeter case diameter. It's actually the bezel diameter. The case is smaller. The bezel overhangs the case, which is really kind of weird. I've not seen that on another watch without a rotating bezel. With a rotating bezel, it makes sense. You can get better grip on it, but this one here, I don't know, just a little interesting. 13.2 millimeter thick. Again, with that screw down crown. Anyway, I'm trying to say screw down crown, 13.2 thick, and it's just rated to 100 meters water resistance, so that's kind of interesting. 20 millimeter lug width. It does taper down nicely to 16, so this watch wears wonderfully on wrist. No complaints there. 6.5 millimeter signed screw down crown, and approximately sized for my 6.5 inch wrist. It weighs 137 grams. The Tisell. Another downside about this watch here is it's okay on wrist, but maybe not. I would really like if this had negative end links instead of these positive end links. These things really stick out quite far. 53.8 millimeter from tip to tip here. 46.9 lug to lug. 39 millimeter case diameter. 20 millimeter lug width, and it tapers down wonderfully down to 16. So very comfortable on wrist. The glide lock type system works. So no complaints with the fit and feel on wrist. It has that Rolex style case back as well. So very plain looking. I mean, really, for 235 bucks, I really can't fault this watch. The only thing I would like is the negative end links. Other than that, I really can't complain about it for 235 bucks. I mean, it's a Homage watch, so I do feel a little bit dirty about that, but you know, whatever. Okay, Borealis. I would say this is my least favorite of the bunch. Borealis, 47.5 lug to lug. It does have drilled lugs. The only one that doesn't have drilled lugs is the Tisell, so everything else has drilled lugs. Forgot to mention that. With drilled lugs, polished on the sides, polished bezel, and then brushed on the top. So, sorry, 47.5 lug tip to lug tip, 39.5 millimeter diameter, 12.1 thick. So thickness is, I mean, this watch is, I can't believe it's 300 meters water resistance at 12.1 thick, but that's what it's rated at. 20 millimeter lug width, and it does taper down to only 18. I really would like to taper down to 16. Also, this is the least Explorer looking due to the handset, and then also the 5-link bracelet versus the 3-link type of bracelet. 20 to 18, 6.8 millimeter crown. That is a signed crown, which reminds me that Tisell has a 7 millimeter crown, 12.1 thick, and it weighs in at 132 grams. So I think I forgot to cover those dimensions. Sorry about getting everything out of order here. This guy, 6.8 crown, and it weighs in at 145 grams. So it's the heaviest of the bunch by at least, well, close to 10 grams. And you can actually feel that difference, the 10 grams difference. Feel it more so between these two. And I forgot to put them on my wrist, so I guess we'll just go over the specs on the last one and then put them all on wrist. This is the Armida A6, the smallest one of the bunch, but also the thickest, so explain that. 44.1 millimeter lug to lug, again negative end links. 36 millimeter case diameter, 13.9 thick. It's a chunky watch. The proportions are all off to me, that thickness to width ratio. 20 millimeter lug width, and it tapers down nicely to 16. We have a 6.4 millimeter crown, so it has the smallest diameter crown and the largest thickness. But you know, to be fair, I would say 2 millimeters of that is due to that domed crystal. So if that was a flat crystal, yeah, that can make all the difference right there. Actually, that was a flat crystal. And then 125 grams size for my 6.5 inch wrist. So let's get these on wrist, and then we'll close out the video. We'll just keep it at this zoom magnification level to keep things simple. There's a look at the thickness there. I really like this watch, actually. The thickness, I guess I'll just have to live with the thickness. Yeah, it looks about this size by eye too on my wrist. If I bring it in closer, it should look a little larger on my wrist. Okay, let's go in reverse order here. Let's go to the Borealis. It's just the clasp is too wide. Maybe a little bit. I don't mind the length. It's just the width. It's just it's bigger than what it needs to be. But you know, I really come to appreciate tapered bracelets. Maybe it doesn't matter to you as much. Normally, I do like a Jubilee style bracelet, but in this case, I like the oyster style bracelet. So there it is on my 6.5 inch wrist with the 52 millimeter wristband. I might try and sneak in the SKX for the Lume. I don't know if I have room or not for that. So here is the Tisell. And notice the long center links on the lugs here. So these are technically the same width as my wrist. Yeah, we'll just say it's the same width as my wrist. 52 millimeter wristband. Actually, I'm sorry, it's longer. It's about 54 millimeter. I may not be able to see that from the angle of the camera here, or the way the camera works. Let me know which one of these watches is your favorite of the bunch here. I appreciate hearing your feedback. Also, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and like and share the video. Again, wonderful taper on this, makes a big difference. Okay, let's go to the Steinhart, and then we'll get to the Lume and close out the video. This one does look good on wrist too. I mean, they all do in their own way, for obvious reasons. The case on this is really just a Steinhart case. It's not all that similar to Rolex, but you know, it works. Again, the negative end links. So I thought the bezel was thick on this, but I guess it's really not. It's about the same thickness as the Tisell. So yeah, that works. All right, let's pause the video and we'll be right back with the Lume. Okay, so on the far left we have the Steinhart. And then going to the right we have the Tisell. Then the Adraga. And on the very far right, the Armida A6. So as I had guessed at the beginning of the video, the Armida has the best Lume of the bunch here. And then after that, I don't know, it's kind of a draw. Really hard to say which one has the next best Lume. Maybe the Steinhart, Tisell, and then Borealis. The other three are about the same. So hopefully you found this video educational, entertaining. And as always, thank you for your time and thank you for watching.